was thinking about how, they've just extended lockdown to August 15th, which I know that it can't be enforced, but I think it's more about like what's safe for us. So I'll follow lockdown somewhat. I'm going to still go to the pools if the pools don't get shut down. I really hope the pools don't get shut down. When I woke up, I think the news, it's getting to me a little tiny bit. Like, okay, wow, there really is no end in sight to this. And, that in turn leads me to think about my business and whatever. It's easy to kind of spin out. So this reminded me in turn, one thought leads to another. I was roller skating with my friend Elizabeth the other night. We roller skate very often. I've only had my skates for like 2 weeks and I'm a maniac. I'm a maniac on my skates. And I told her about this thing. I said, oh, I did my morning resentments. And she laughed and laughed. I was only half kidding. So this is going to sound really counterintuitive coming from somebody who allegedly like meditates and does therapy and does recovery work, all, in the interest of being a better, calmer, nicer, human being on the planet. But what brought up this morning resentment thing? Okay, well, let me just back up a little bit and say, I feel like one good-ish thing that has come from lockdown is I am honing my skills as what I'm going to call an emotional meteorologist. I often observe my feelings. I'm a very feeling person. I'm like, not to suggest you guys aren't feeling, but sometimes I get so swept away by my emotions. And I'm trying to get more tuned into like, okay, so I'm an emotional meteorologist, or I'm an amateur. I'm working on it. And to me, my best radar is meditation. Because when I meditate, monkey mind takes over and things come in. And instead of being pissed off, like, oh, I'm doing it wrong, I'm like, okay, pay attention. Like, what is the message I'm trying to get? What's the weather? What's my emotional weather? And how can I prepare for it? And my emotional weather since lockdown started in March, wow, it's really been all over the map. It felt pretty sunny at first, like, haha, look at me. I'm putting curlers in my hair, playing with my sweet potato, to like a wicked brutal storm that happened a few weeks ago and other stuff in between. So now I'm just trying to pay attention to the weather, not because I can change my emotional weather. Well, actually, maybe I can change it a little bit, but more like, how can I prepare for it? And so this reminded me of my morning resentments exercise. And let me back up again and say, I think I was 38. I don't remember how old I was, but I learned how to swim. I was afraid of water. I took a class for adults that were basically phobic. I mean, and I learned from my friend Sean Jordan, who's awesome. He's a 2-time Olympic gold medal swimmer. I guess it sounds like I'm bragging, but whatever. I'm proud of my friend for his Olympic gold medals. And we learned in this pool at the East Side Y that's 4 feet across and 4 feet deep all the way across. At first, I could barely put my head underwater. And then he taught me to swim. I'm not a great swimmer, but boy, it brought me so much joy. And I got to a point where I swam a mile every day for I don't even know how long. That was just my thing. I would swim a mile, and it became such a joyful activity for me. Well, along comes this relationship I'm in, and with it comes the baggage of the ex-girlfriend. I knew her before I knew him. And this woman she was awful. She really was awful, I'm telling you, being completely objective. Like, she would corner me. I said to her, when her ex-boyfriend asked me out, I said, look, are you guys really done? Because if you're not done, I'm just trying to get laid here. I'm not looking for some big relationship and many fish in the sea. No, we're done. But I think that she perceived my request not as like politeness or civility or checking in, but like I handed her the power. And for the next, I don't know how long, years, this relationship lasted a long time. She would corner me at parties. She'd be like, here's how he's going to be in bed. Here's how he's going to break up with you. Here's when he's going to break up with you. She would just try to make a wedge in there. And the guy, he was obsessed with her. Not like he wanted to go out with her, but there was just some weirdness. And I would bring it up and he'd be like, nuh-uh, nuh-uh, nuh-uh. And my friend would say, like, what's up with those two? It felt terrible. I didn't know boundaries back then. I would try to do ultimatums, whatever. The point is this. I resented the shit out of that woman. Like hugely resented the shit out of her. It was consuming me. And then I came up with this plan, which I knew it might wreck swimming for me, but I gave it a shot, is that for the first half mile that I swam every day, I would actually swim, let's call her, we'll just call her Popo, with all due respect to my Boston Terrier Popo. For the first half mile I would swim, I would just like actively say over and over, I hate Popo, I hate Popo, I hate Popo, I hate Popo. And, some people might advise against that and say you're giving more power to the resentment. And what happened was it first of all became funny, right? It just like the words had less meaning. And second of all, by concentrating my resentment, like dedicating, you can have 20 to 30 minutes a day for this resentment. That's it. It just like, it showed me how much time I was wasting. It was such a waste of time resenting her. It wasn't doing anything. She didn't know about it. Actually, I guess she kind of knew about it, but whatever. It was just a waste of time. And it demonstrated to me, that it was killing me. It was eating me up. So I'm not very good at turning the switch off on resentments. But that exercise really helped. And so during lockdown, this has come back to me, where sometimes I have resentments. I resented that the pools were closed. Some people will do something like not wear masks and I'll feel resentment, or somebody will say something or not say something or whatever it is. And boom, I get hooked right in. Oh, I just get hooked. I am like the grudge holder. I'm trying to not be the grudge holder anymore, but I get so hooked in. So sometimes I do my morning resentments and it helps. I jotted down a couple of other notes because, my brain in the morning's all over the place. In addition to the resentments, I do these other things that are actually positive, and it's been helping a lot. And now that we're locked down for even longer, if you feel yourself super resenty, I always say I'm not the boss of you, but this helps me. I have a pretty solid schedule. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. It's like summer camp for Spike. But for example, today, I will walk the dogs. I will go to Deep Eddy and swim. I will go to Barton Springs and jump in. I will go to my roller skating lesson. Somewhere in there, I'll meditate. And then, it's like I treat myself like this high energy toddler, and I just run myself till I'm exhausted. I think I slept 10 hours last night because I was just wiped out. I have this new mantra, which is medicate, meditate, masticate, and roller skate. And as long as I remember to take my meds, meditate, eat something, and exercise, it helps to keep me really solid. So, I was going to say a resentment, like a building resentment I have. You see, I have on my great shirt today. It says, I'm only an angry feminist when you're a misogynistic asshole. And I'm listening to Ibram X. Kendi's book, How to Be an Anti-Racist. It's such a compelling listen, read, whatever. And it's just really, really, really underscoring for me, not just like the rampant, ubiquitous racism everywhere, but there are parallels between racism and sexism, misogyny. And I've always been an ardent feminist. I mean, since I was a teenager. And it's not that I get complacent, but it's just like, it's so everywhere. It's in the air that I just forget how bad it is sometimes. And I'm just looking at how poorly women are treated by our society, by policy. We still don't get paid the same amount. I mean, whatever. I'm not going to go too far off down there, but I got some resentments around that. And I don't feel bad about the resentments because it's going to help me to maybe be a little more politically active again. And importantly, because the political is personal, to make changes in my own life and to look at how I contribute to the misogyny that hurts me. We'll see. We'll do a longer episode on that later. So I think the last thing on my list here is, so I was talking about my mantra and things I do to feel better. It's summer camp. Like in addition to doing those other things I mentioned, I knit a lot, but I took a little break from knitting this week, and check this out. I am making my own mala beads. Can you see that? I put a knot between every one of those beads. It's just so fun. I mean, if you can use the rest, like this ongoing lockdown, to make it a little bit at summer campy, it's helping me. Maybe it'll help you. And supposedly, too, there's a benefit to arts and crafts, which it goes beyond arts and crafts. It helps with my PTSD. I was coming up with this theory yesterday that maybe the reason women have been so crafty over the years with their sewing and stuff is not only to help the household, to make the clothes and do the cooking, but just to keep from going completely bonkers while being, lorded over by their men or whatever. I think I have a lot of resentments this morning. Okay, this is a long one. I'm going to go walk the dogs and swim and all the rest of it. I hope you do something really nice for yourself today. Hang in there, everyone. See you soon. Hey y'all, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you'll like and subscribe to my channel. And if you like this episode, I hope that you'll copy this link, share it with a friend, paint it on a wall, put it on your social media. That'd be great. Thanks a million. Take it easy.